Michael Sellars.
Joe Sellars, Michael's dad.
So please tell us about the morning of the accident.
The morning of the accident, I was working at home for a couple of hours. Michael had left for work about 7:30 to arrive there at 8. And during this call that I was on, I had the phone pinged to let me know there was an incoming call about 10 after 8. So I checked the caller ID and it was Michael's cell phone. I called that number back and a woman answered the phone and I asked who was this and she asked who was this and I said this is Joe Sellars, I'm trying to reach my son Michael, and she identified herself as a community service officer with JSO and went on to tell me about what had happened, that Michael had had an accident where he had slid sideways into a concrete utility pole and that he was being taken to Shands Hospital, now UF Health, with life-threatening injuries including a possible head injury. I got off the phone, we got ourselves down to the hospital, including our younger son Wes, and we were greeted by the chaplain in the main hallway, which was a little unnerving, but he took us back to the emergency room where Michael was, and where they had already put life support on him and a number of other measures to keep him alive, and that same chaplain will become a source of strength through the weeks that were yet to come. We spent the better part of the morning really waiting for them to get Michael stabilized in the emergency room, and then I think it was early afternoon, maybe somewhere between noon and 1, that he was finally taken upstairs to the 8th floor surgical ICU. The surgical ICU was really to take care of the other injuries that he had had in addition to the head injury, in that he had broken his collarbone, he had 3 broken ribs, and he had also broken his pelvis. And then of course, even though his head didn't actually hit anything, his brain was getting jarred in all directions inside, and which the diffuse axonal injury was taking place in either terribly straining connections inside the brain or breaking some of them. So he was in a pretty bad way, and we didn't really learn the extent of the TBI until about a week later after they had done an MRI, but it was pretty clear that he had suffered a traumatic brain injury. He just didn't know how bad it was for a few more days.
I honestly don't remember anything in my life after my first physician change at Chrysler Financial. I remember no details of anything after that first promotion, so probably June '08, so I don't know, 9 months before it. Actually, I'm very proud of this. The reason I chose the car out of the wrecking, I chose the GTO because compared to the Camaro I had, it's like comparing a brick to a soda can as far as what would happen to it if you hit it. And thank goodness I chose that car because otherwise I wouldn't be here. So.
But yeah, most days when we're either heading out to go to the Brooks Neural Recovery Center or for me to go to work, it's usually coming out Shads and then heading north.
It's cool because I don't remember enough about the accident to have any kind of weird chills or anything. I just said, that's pretty.
When he had been discharged home, I had a bunch of photos of the car as it appeared at the site where they were holding it. And finally my wife Denise and I said, okay, well, we should be able to handle looking at the pictures. No emotional outburst, no nothing. He just sort of looked at him and, I'm lucky to be alive. Okay, that's the pole. Except it didn't have graffiti on it that particular day. And the thing that nobody's ever figured out, I mean, you see all this gravel and stuff here on the road from the trucks that go back into here. But that morning it was not really cold. The roads were perfectly dry. And I mean, there was nothing in the road condition of the road or the weather that would have contributed to the accident. So what happened was, with the impact from driving by it later, this unit here was pushed up against the pole. That was actually included in the accident report and the police write-up. So by the way the indentation was in the car door, it looked like the car may have hit at an angle like that, with the bulk of the damage more towards the rear of the car door. And again, Michael got trapped between the door and the center console. And then the nose of the car wound up going against this fence back here. What do you think? Any particular feelings?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pole. Yeah, I mean, what I would wonder more than anything was, had the skid started a foot sooner or a foot later, how different things could have been. I mean, like I said, I drive by it just about every day, either going to or coming home from work or both. What happened, happened, and the most important part is we got Michael back.
Yeah.
Now, through all this time, they had encouraged us to move his legs, move his arms, move everything we could, really just to let the brain know that he still had a body down there. But then on the morning of April 8th, that's when he started responding to commands, started, stick your tongue out, and he did. Somebody says, we think he's ready to go to Brooks. 2 days later, it happened. And then, and I know you've seen this before, but they always say that when you actually come out of a coma or a vegetative state, it's not like what you see in the movies where they open their eyes and everybody lives happily ever after. It was still a long process.
Yeah, I came to Brooks because I first arrived at Shannon's and then persistent vegetative state, and then I switched to Brooks. I went to Brooks. April? Yeah.
Good Friday 2009, April 10th. We was in the Brooks Day Treatment Program in January and February of 2010. And then on March 3rd, I believe, the anniversary of the day that we were told just how bad things were and how bad his prospects were, he started at the Brooks Clubhouse.
Brooks Clubhouse is a day program for persons with traumatic brain injury. We help those in the brain injury community reintegrate back into society, or if they want to go on to school or want to return to work or school, we have vocational services that help in that process.
And how has your experience been with all of your interactions with Brooks?
In my sophomore or junior year of college, I made a decision to make every day not bad, make a change or you do something worth waking up for. So between that attitude and actual improvement, every experience I've had with Brooks has been at least a little positive. Most of them have been greatly positive, so certainly no negatives in there, nothing to complain about.
Well, let me say, Michael has a very, very devoted family. It's kind of like when you met Michael, you got Joe, you got his mom, you got his brother, and you can tell that they are very close family.
Yeah, from the family's point of view, just simply the best. Every program they offer is leading edge. The variety of programs that they have. The Clubhouse is one of, I think, 25 similar facilities around the entire United States. And the concept is give the brain injury or stroke survivor a place to go to re-enter the community, re-enter the workforce, and in Michael's case, gain a whole new set of friends, pick up an extended family. There's a very strong sense of community in the different programs that they offer. And of course, Brooks as an institution supports that and encourages that. And they have not let us down. If you've got goals, they will help you get there. And they've got such a different variety of ways to do it.
So part of this journey that you're involved with in Second Chance Stories is having a second chance story in life. So what is your second chance story?
Oh, drive safer, that's for sure. Yeah, just pass on the lessons to people. Yeah, thank God it was a lesson instead of a step, you know? You know, it's a lesson in life instead of the end of a life. I'll take that every single time.
In some ways, and again, you know, I don't want to speak for you, but it's like his second chance is just being himself, and that he is inspiring people simply just by being there.
So we're gonna take a look at the car?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go take a look at it.
You guys over there.
Ryan's dad and my dad know each other. They work together, and so he told my dad about what Ryan's doing, and then my dad mentioned it, and so he gave Ryan my cell. Ryan gave me a call and told me about what he was doing. He showed me the website, the Facebook page, and kind of what he's been working on, and it just seemed like the cool thing to do. What he's doing is it's really important. It's inspirational, and the reason why I think it hits home for me is because I spent 6 years in the Army. It's very common for people in the field that I was working in to get TBIs. It's like extremely common. So I know like the effects it has and what it does. I have friends that have TBIs, on disability, and so when I heard about it and I heard what he was trying to do, I just wanted to be here, see if I could help in any way I could. As far as me and Michael go, like, we both love cars, so it was really easy to talk to Michael and just kind of hit it off and talk about what we both enjoy. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, hey. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you, man. I had fun.
So how has your experience with Michael been, and how was the drive? And
so the drive was good. He just kind of like mentioned, like I asked him how far he wanted to go, and he's like, I don't care. I was like, all right, well let's just keep going. So we just drove and did a little loop at the end and came back. Did a couple poles within the speed limit, of course. So it was pretty fun.
if you had the chance to do something like this again, would you?
Absolutely, without a hesitation. Not like I would always want to do something like this. So.
If you could just talk about today, Michael, like how did it feel to show up and see a Viper?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It would be because there's only one gear that you need to feel the ride in to know the feeling. If you want to feel absolute thrust, just drive through first gear in a Viper but it feels like you're being shoved hard right about here. It's great.
No, when Ryan first told me that what was going on, you know, I said, let's surprise Michael with it. Of course, Ryan was all about that. And, you know, all Michael knew was we were going to have a meeting with Ryan and the film crew. So we had our meeting with Ryan and the film crew.
Right.
But, no, I guess when we pulled in, you know, Michael saw this, and I was pleasantly, I'm not going to say surprised, because I mean I knew what was coming, but it was still cool to see everybody here and you know, making the event out of it that it really is. So that's I'm very happy for you, especially that you had such a great time with all these great people helping you out. So once again, thank you.
I guess what my dad was trying to say is he was very pleased in seeing another person's reaction to the gift that this experience has provided me, so thank you.
Well put.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about when you first found out about Second Chance Story.
I first found out about it through Kathy Martin at the Brooks Clubhouse. She was telling me about, honestly, about you, Ryan, and she was giving a little background on your story and telling that you are in the process of a project to create a way to let not everyone, but you know, let a few folks get their words out. Get their word out to basically, I don't know, the community, tell them what happened to them, things like that.
I thought it was absolutely wonderful that this kind of opportunity exists for Michael and other TBI survivors going forward, and that you know, how remarkable it is that you're able to provide that opportunity to people to take your own injury and turn it into something that'll benefit just an awful lot of people. What I see Second Chance Stories as is the means to tell others, we've been there, we know what you're going through, you also have a future, you also have the opportunity to thrive, and it's also great exposure for the different types of resources that are out there for the TBI survivor, especially here in Jacksonville.
If you could say one thing, give some kind of advice to another individual or another family that is going through the brain injury experience and another person that is living their second chance, what kind of message would you give to them?
Well, first and foremost, don't give up. Never, ever give up. If you've got a family member that has suffered a TBI or a catastrophic injury, do your best to find out how you can reach families of others that have had similar injuries, to learn from their experiences, and really to have an idea of what to expect over the continuum of care as your loved one continues to recover and improve. You know, you have to be able to ride it out, be patient, and yeah, reach out to somebody who's been there before, because we're all out there.
And what I would say is, as a TBI victim, I hate the word
Survivor.
victim. Yeah, survivor, there you go. Yeah, if you survive a TBI, take advantage of every little opportunity you have. Like, even if it's moving 2 steps way faster than you did the day before, that's a huge improvement.
Yep.
Every single improvement is a small party in your brain, so go nuts with it. Seriously, celebrate every minor event like it's New Year's Eve.
Small steps becoming a giant leap. something I've been very pleased to see with Michael too is that he's progressed. He's helping to encourage others progress. We'll use the Brooks Challenge Mile as an example. He did his first Challenge Mile in 2012. Did about a third of it walking independently, about another third with a walker, and then the rest of it was myself and a volunteer helping him stand up after the skids on the walker gave out. So he went from that to the next year walking the whole thing by himself, beginning to end. And then over the last couple of years, he would get his mile completed pretty quickly. And rather than hang around the finish line, last year he went back out on the course 2, maybe 3 times to find some friends and some fellow clubhouse members and escort them and encourage them to the finish line. So he's out there helping to motivate people just because that's him. He likes to cheer other people on as well.
I do like to encourage people, but I did it the first time because I like to encourage people, but I like to encourage people, but after the first couple minutes, I'm like, this is a lot of fun. I'm gonna go and do this again. My whole point in doing at least that is go out and talk to people. If you don't encourage everyone to leave their imprint on someone, they're not gonna leave any positive impact. And spread friendship.
I'm Alice Krause. I'm the occupational therapist who manages the Brooks Rehabilitation Adaptive Sports and Recreation Program, and I couldn't be happier to be here today with Michael Sellars at his 7th Brooks Rehabilitation Challenge Mile. Michael is celebrating his incredible recovery, the incredible hard work that he has put forth, and his family has supported him every single step of the way. We feel very, very proud about Michael being here today and feel confident that his participation in so many Brooks programs have contributed to his recovery. But if I had to say one thing that has been the biggest impetus for his recovery, it would be the Sellars family teamwork. Sellars family teamwork. Thanks, Michael.
How was the run this year compared to previous years, and what was it like going back?
It was fun. It was like, honestly, I felt like I should go faster because, it's a sign of improvement and everything. But about halfway through, I thought, who cares? Not fun, So I just did that and just saw a good time.
7th one is as much fun as ever. Frankly, they keep getting better and better every year. Both from a purely personal perspective and for the event. I mean, the last 2 years we've seen the largest registrations they've had for this ever. I think 700, maybe 800 plus. And again, we had just a remarkable group of people that come out here. A lot of fighters, a lot of overcomers, and of course, from a personal perspective, Michael continues to improve. And of course, it was fun when it was all over to go back out and see some other people that were still coming in and walk with them and see how they were doing and encourage them on and so forth. So, this is one of the events that I enjoy the most every year of what the different things that Brooks offers, just because you've got such a diverse group of people, but at the same time, they're all there for the same reason. They're out there to recover, to thrive, and overcome, and succeed.
So you enjoyed this year?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I found different was in previous years, I did about halfway through and paid a lot more attention to the time I was taking. This year I just said, well, I feel I'm going faster than I am. And it was a much more relaxed pace, so I was like, okay, don't worry about the time, just get done. And then you go back out and be a giant cheerleader. So
It's a good way to put it.